G'day guys, welcome to the stream. We'll be going through the round 10 teams as they drop, which, judging by the website, they're actually already up. So we'll get into it. What do we got for tomorrow night? The Friday night clash with Port hosting Melbourne. Bryn Teakle, I think a few might have gone him, but unluckily he's been dropped. So I guess it's actually for Lyset. I thought they might have just rolled with Finlayson and Dixon, but I think Dixon's still out, right? So, he's not playing. So, Lyset's come back in. And then for Melbourne, Salem's back. So, he's been out for, most of the year until this point. And McVee still held his spot. So, it's funny that. It would have been nice to have him. How are we, Cliff and Jordan? What's up, guys? I'll quickly answer this. Look, we'll probably go over it with the teams, but I would just go Sharp, provided he's named, as far as I'm aware. There was a quote today from Fags, sort of saying, he's like what he's seen. He's improved. Like he was a skinny sort of fit kid when he came in, but he's sort of spent 2 or 3 years in the twos and put a bit more size on, and they might be liking how he's going. And said like give him a run of games in a row. So look, it's a guess, but we will see. I don't believe so. I don't believe I'll be joined by any of the boys tonight. So I'll probably just do a quick one. Don't want to talk to myself for too long, but I will talk to the chat and you guys as much as I can. But I think, JD's always got the kids at this time, and then George, I don't know what he's doing. He might be playing league. Who knows? But yeah, nothing else too much to see here. So Gawn, I think, obviously with Lyset back, maybe it's a bit harder than it might have been against Teakle, but he'll still probably go very well if you've got him. And then, it just comes down whether you want to VC one of the, Clary or Track or whoever you're all gone, obviously, in this game, but nothing too interesting here. North, bit of an exodus here. Obviously, the news today of Clarko taking a bit of leave of absence, and then there's been a few changes as well within the team. Anything that really stands out? I mean, we already knew LDU's out for a bit. Aaron Hall back in. I just don't know why they bother. Like, even though I'm not a Zeeble owner, why do they even bother with this? Like, anyway, I won't go up about it. Wardlaw in. That's good to see. I did say it on the podcast. Funnily enough, I did watch North play in the VFL last week against Frankston. One of my mates plays for Frankston, so I watched that game, and Wardlaw was very good. Looked really, really good. So yeah, provided he's ready, which seems he is, he might, maybe his TOG might be a bit low, but I think he's going to be a player if he can keep himself fit. So that'll be interesting to see. And then Drury's held his spot. So that's, I guess, all the relevance there. Maybe Will Phillips, if you still own him, has come into the team as well. I'm trying to find his name on the wing. So there's that. She's on the wing trade. Look, I think he's going to eventually be a trade, but I'm going to probably wait till he's buy to do so, unless it, really drops some poor scores in a row. You might want to, jump off while he's, there's some money in him. But look, I still think like last time when Hall was in, they all played half back, and it might be a smashing like it was that game against Melbourne, and he'll probably be fine. Swans, just a couple of tools, I guess, for Logan, who's out. Hickey is injured again, so McAndrew comes in. Wow, so they're sort of playing 2 rucks here. Mills, as we know, screwed my season last week. But Aaron Francis, I guess, is one that people might ask some questions about and could be an option, at an elevated price, mind you. But I think it said Tom McCartan's still like, they're going to take their time with him, with his concussion. Obviously, we already know about Paddy. So, and then Rampy's still like another 6 weeks away. So it could be an option. You'd have a look at what it does for your buys. They got the first one, right? So, have a look. It's just whether or not when, is he going to get swung forward? Is it something like, that could happen, I guess, at some stage. So I think he can go okay, though, in that role. But nothing else too much there. Roberts to Drury. Yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest. I think Drury's probably just going to get games. Whether or not he scores much, probably not. But at least you sort of, we know Roberts is out for a while. Gives you an extra player through the buys. As I said, it might not be a huge amount of points, but It could help you field 18 one week and give you that extra 30, 40 points, whatever he scores. So I don't hate it. Get rid of some deadwood there. Chesser, yeah, we will see. And then Monk, yeah, I know. He had his time. He had a good year a couple of years ago. Thought he actually played quite well that year, but there's just no point in playing him anymore. But anyway, Dogs and the Crows. Nothing major here to really take out of this. Again, might be a bit of a boring night for teams. Doesn't seem like there's too much. I guess maybe the young kid James O'Donnell. So he held his spot, and Keith has been dropped. So maybe that says something. But again, that could change. But he'll obviously be on the bubble next week, and we'll see what happens there. Might be an option. I think he's 1 or 2K right in defence. So maybe have a look at that if you want to fix up a Cowan or what have you, like I still have. And then the Crows, nothing really here. Thilthorpe injured, unfortunately, so Rob probably back into a full ruck role. And then Murray back in, and they managed Tex. Interesting. So nothing really here. There's no rookies really from Adelaide, is there? I think Paddy Parnell, but he's a bit higher priced. Freo and the Cats, I think we found out before. Duncan did a hammy an hour or so ago. Dempsey omitted, and Ollie Henry had that injury as well. And then Henry's back. Stengel is back. And Close. So Stengel and Close back, and we've still got Simpson in the team, Nevitt in the team if you went him, and Bruin still there as well, and Parfitt. So, obviously Danger's not back yet. Guthrie, we don't really know what's happening with him. They could be all right, those two, if you've got Simpson and Nevitt. So hopefully they play throughout the buys and be fine. I will get to some questions later, guys. I'll just quickly scoot through these. There might not be anything interesting with the teams. So Sharp is one that people are looking at here from the Lions, and obviously he's sort of staying ahead of Answorth, I guess. Or Answorth isn't even in the emergencies, which is interesting. So Harry Sharp, I don't mind him. As I said at the start, the quote from Fagan, he's probably the one to go. I wouldn't advise you go like a Humphrey over him. I'll get to my team at the end, but there might be some different reasons you go for someone like a Humphrey if you're just in a terrible position like me. But Sharp, save the cash. Hopefully plays through the buys for you. Like they got the first one, so you just hope after the buy he holds his spot and can at least play 2 or 3 after that and make some money and obviously get some. Just have that extra warm body through the buys. So I don't mind him. I think he's probably clearly the best to bring in this week now. Not that it's a great bunch, but I would probably be going him. And then Thomas Berry, unfortunately, that's sort of what we expected when Ainsworth and Holman were back, that he would be the one to make way. So he has. It's look, I guess it's nice that you've seen it. You didn't go early on him, and you don't get trapped into going someone like him. So we expected that. That's happened. Maybe he's sub, and that'd be unfortunate, but we can't really pick him. So Ridley's back. Mass dropped, and then Setters, we know, is out for a little bit with a foot fracture, I believe. And then whoever was the sub last week escapes me. Oh, Alwyn, wasn't it? So he's obviously into the full team now. Look, I think he killed him cash gen, right, with that 7 or whatever he dropped. So, I mean, I got rid of him. If you want to hold him through the buys as a body, you can, but he might start to drop in price. And then the Tiggs, Ben Miller omitted. For Nank is back. Hopper, as we know, injured. So, look, I get obviously Samson's ruck time might go down a bit, but he'll still be the main chop out. And then I guess, I think JD brought it up on the pod saying against Essendon backline is a little bit undermanned at the minute. Rids and BCT is the tools. They don't have Laverde. It might be right for Samson, so I'll be fielding him this week. Not like I'm got a huge amount of choices, but I think he still could be all right for a score on field for us this week. And then, Merritt, I guess, is the other one. A lot of people are thinking of bringing in. I mean, look at the followers here. Ben Hobbs, Archie Perkins, Merritt, and then pretty much Shield. So they don't have, with Setters and Parish out, too many others to roll through there, which I guess bodes pretty well for Merritt, who's sort of, floating across half forward at times last week and sort of has, in 2 of the last 3 weeks, I think. So, I think I'm bringing him in this week. Then has the West Coast and North back-to-back afterwards. I think Jaws raised, he might get O'Neill. They've been using O'Neill as a bit of a run with role, and since Merritt's the only guy that's a bit recognisable in the midfield at the minute, he might cop that, but then he gets North the week after, I think. So Hobbs, look, I think he's 330k. Someone asked about him on the pod on the stream then, and I don't hate him, but I think it's just too much. Going in a little bit blind, like expecting to play some midfield time this week, no doubt, but at 330, is it really worth it? It could be. He could get a few big scores. As I said, they've got easy matches, and you might be able to flip him for 450, 500, depending how well he goes. But that's obviously that's best case scenario. So yeah, I guess one you could think about. Sharp or Drury? I mean, for me, I'm going Sharp, I think. If picking between the two, that's probably the way I would say at the minute. Even though I do like Drury's job security a bit more, I just think his scoring might be next to stuff all. Are we missing a game? That's the 2 night ones. Yeah, that's it. And then Sundays, we sort of know they're just squads, so there's not too much to go. Chess is in, but onto the bench, so we don't, not totally sure till tomorrow. And then for Hawks side of things, take a bit of notice here with the Sicily owner. Okay, Blank's good to go. That's good. Shane is still in the team. And then we've got Weddle among the bench names here, which, could be hard to make, but you'd think they'd keep playing him. You would expect. So find that out tomorrow. But yeah. I think, to be honest, I was about to say, if you still haven't got him, we'll obviously see the teams tomorrow. I think he's still an okay option to bring in at 160, but probably just go Sharp at this point if you missed him. And then West Coast, don't really need to speak about them. Carlton Collingwood, big game at the G, as it always is. Chincotto, a few raising some eyebrows about him, might be on the outer, so we all hope, of course, that he's not, but it's a bit hard to pick the bench here. Like, you expect Hewitt and Kennedy, although there was some talk maybe Hewitt was training with the twos. DeConning, yeah, really can't pick it at all. Don't know what they're going to be doing there, so we'll wait and see tomorrow. And then Darcy Cameron's been named for his return game after doing his knee against the Tigers way back when. So good to see there. They'll desperately need him. And then, yeah, not really too much to speak about here either. So, yeah, as I expect, it's probably tended to be pretty boring, the teams. And obviously we don't know anything about this, but Josh Fahey, some people might be interested in providing he makes his team at some point. That'd be nice. I think, is there Fleeton as well, right? Where's he? Here, back pocket. Yeah, okay. So he could be another option next week. It could be O'Donnell or him, depending, if you desperately need one next week. Next week, probably, if you don't have to, you could just hold trades, but depends where you're at. And then a couple are looking, actually, I've sort of poked my eye their way at Whitfield and Ash, but can't really go there. Look, their kick-ins are going to be up with coming out for a bit, but yeah, probably not going to go there. Yeah, it's a bit of a risk. But they could definitely score well over the next few weeks. Fleeton, yeah, look, to be honest, didn't watch him play on the weekend. I don't know a hell of a lot about him, but I might have to go him next week, so I will probably try to take notice of him this week and see how he goes. But I guess, yeah, with like the coming out for a bit, I guess he's ahead of guys like Brown, who did play defense, right, and got dropped, and others. So yeah, he might be right. So we will wait and see. My team. So like, I'll just reverse. I'm clearly in bit of the mud here with the Mills injury, like losing 50k. Used my last boost last week to get him and Brayshaw in, and it just really, really stuffed me. I'll probably feel Seamus this week. He's going quite well. So yeah, got to use my 2 trades on these 2 guys, and it sort of just leaves me a bit of a precarious position, like 966k to get 2 players. I've looked at every which way possible at combinations and what makes sense, what doesn't, and I just can't see much that does. Like, I'm just probably going to go a premium and then someone like a Humphrey, or maybe even just a Sharp, and bank more cash. And whilst I'll have to field an extra rookie on field for another week, I'm just trying to play catch up last week and look how that went. It just might really stuff me. So like, I've looked at doing Stewart and say Kennedy. like, where does that really get me? Leaves no cash in the bank, and I can't make an upgrade next week anyway, so that's probably out the window. Uh, but like premiums I'm looking at are Stewart and probably Merritt. So, um, I could do Stew and someone like a Sharp. And then Banks like 240K, which is nice. And then I get Samson up next week to a premium that that I actually want to own. No one's sketchy like a Chad Warner or a Redman or DeGoey or all these guys I've sort of looked at 500-ish or, around that real cheaper price. I get in, Merritt this week or whatever, or Stewart, and then probably the next one the week after, get the other one that I don't get, and just be happy with 2 primos, even though I'm kind of still a premium down. So, yeah, it was like I think whether I get Stewart or Merritt this week, the one next week will most likely be the other one. So it's kind of just who will score more points this week, and I think I've settled on Merritt, but maybe Duncan out. It might end up being Stewart, and then Humphrey. I guess a bit of reasoning behind him is that he has the good buy, so does help, and obviously Stewart does too. So do something like this. 150, it sort of gets a bit dicey depending how Samson goes. Like he might be, let's just say 350. Keep it pretty conservative next week. So 150 on top of him, he's only sort of a 500K player. So then I will have to make that Cowan downgrade to Fleeton or O'Donnell or whoever looks half decent, just to get me that extra bit of money to get someone like a Merritt or someone that I trust. So it's probably the way I'm going, somewhere along the lines of this. I mean, it means I'm fielding, as I said, still 4 rookies this week: Samson, Seamus, and then Humphrey, and hopefully Chincotta. But if not, I can do this, and then hopefully Weddle gets named too. Like I'll have to think about that, obviously, if something happens there. But I might be able to make some, sort of the trade cheats and get Seamus back there by doing that. So I'll probably be fine either way. And then as I said, Samson could be a premature trade out next week, but I just think I've got to get up to another premium. Like I'm already behind as sort of non-oving Zeeble. Just need to capitalize. Just need to get some rookies off field. So it's probably what I'll do next week. But I'll answer some questions for probably 15 minutes, and then I'll jump off. Probably just a quick one tonight. Nothing, as I said, too major here from the teams, and no George or JD to chat to. So I'll answer a few questions, and then we'll probably wrap it up. So here we go. Is it worth noting all the players in the teams can change any point for? I mean, yeah, like they can obviously with any laid out of an injury of any sort. I think isn't there something happening next year where they're going to be able to make like as many changes as they want right up until like it's going to really affect us as sort of fantasy players and SuperCoach and whatnot. So yeah, I mean that's always been the case. Anything can always change at any point. They're allowed to make late changes. So just have to stay, rolls as it comes. Can I pick Weddle this week instead of Sharp? I guess you can, but at this stage, man, I don't fully know whether he's playing or not. So we'll wait and see tomorrow. I expect him to. I expect they just get games into him. There's no reason not to. So if he is named, I think you can spend that extra 40K or whatever and go him instead. I don't mind it. Charlie asks, what 600K premier would you go, Sarong or Laird this week's both? I would go Sarong. I think, George obviously as a Laird owner has sort of obviously kept a closer eye on him, and he's kind of playing 3/4 a week and getting managed pretty heavily, late in games, and it's just getting through training. So, I wouldn't knowingly trade in a player that, like that's going, battling something. So I'd just get Sarong. Laird, could continue to drop, and you might just pick him up post buy like 139 break even. Yes, we know he can get that, but if he keeps scoring 100s in like 3/4, which is what he's doing, he might end up closer to 560, 570 or something, and then off his buy, off a rest, we could all look at him then. So I'd probably go Sarong, mate, at this point. What do we got? Find a trade JVR to get. Totally find a trade JVR, mate. To be honest, I haven't looked at. He actually went all right last week, didn't he? But look, it could make an extra 40K. Maybe he spikes another score and gets to gets to 300. But I think if you're getting a primo win and he's your way to do it, just do it, mate. Zero's going to score a lot of points over the next few weeks in my eyes. So I would just bite the bullet. Same situation as me. But yeah, look, shit happens, mate. What can we do? I thought I was holding my boost quite well. I only used one early at round 3, or round 2 to round 3 to make some corrections, and then I just sort of was using him the last few weeks to upgrade every week. And the very last one I use, I need the next week on an injury. So I've copped Took. I've copped as captain, mind you, which was super unfortunate. Cop Mills. But plenty of people have had bad luck. There was Stewart early in the year. There was Darcy Cameron. It's been a lot of injuries this year. Parrish. List goes on and on. So sometimes you make your own luck. Sometimes you cop it. You can't really predict it. Although I will say that the injuries sort of in the last couple of weeks hurt a lot more than ones. In round 1 or 2, you can sort of just fix them. Yes, it's wasted trade, but you don't really cop any cash hits or affect your trading or upgrading. So there's that as well. Sports Nut Sharp for Davey. LDU for Merritt or Dusty Cameron. Yeah, I'd go Merritt, mate. I'd go, Davey out. And then just get LD up to Merritt. I know you're not really upgrading, but, obviously both trades probably need to be made. And that sounds pretty good. Matty Johnson, not straight back in. Yeah, I kind of said he just killed himself with that suspension. Rasmus, even though he's managed, actually came in and played quite well. Fife's back now. Even with Brody, he might be sub. Maybe Erasmus is. So, yeah, it's hard to find a spot now for him, really. He's kind of just stuffed himself. And once again, we've lost another rookie, which, look at my bench. It is dire straits here with Cowan, who I'll most likely fix up next week. Rouston was a big fail. Constable, obviously, we all have. And then, obviously, Roberts as well. So, really bad here, and something I'll probably just have to bite the bullet and fix up with some, sideways trades around the buys. So, yeah. Looks bad, but I think a few people are in this position. So, if you're not, well done, and you're probably going to go very, very well. The Duke, Merritt or Walsh, who's the pick, buys the same. Well, they don't actually have the same buy, do they? Carlton around 15. I'm pretty sure the Bombers around 14, right? Where do you go there? I'd probably go Merritt, to be honest, mate. Just see what the money does. See what 40k or 50, whatever it is, does for your future weeks. Does that the difference between a good premium next week or not? And if not, maybe you go Walsh because the DPP status is most likely coming. So you could do that. So just sort of weigh it up. But I do think they have different buys, right? If I'm not mistaken, round 14 is Essendon's not playing. So yeah, unless you mean your buys are the same, no matter what. But yeah, I'll probably go Merritt. But I think both are fine. Georgie boy, mate. Lakers might get one. They might get one game if they're lucky. I don't know what the Lakers are going to do, mate. Pretty quietly confident, although I think it might be a long series. So was a really good game yesterday, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But hopefully the Nuggets get up 2-0, and then it really puts the pressure on the Lakers, obviously, to win Game 3, give it their all, and with how bronze the GOAT in my eyes. I will put it out there, but he is 38, and we'll catch up to him at some point. But he is a machine at the same time, so he might just be able to push himself through it. But AD as well, he's playing a lot of minutes, AD, and I think this is the first time he's played almost 30 games in a row in about 4 years. So, the time's coming, but we'll see. It was a really good game yesterday. Really enjoyed it. Merritt and Walsh this weekend, they 5-15 trades, no boosts. Not sure they needed this year. Yeah, no. Use your boosts. Don't worry about that. I'll do it for sure. Yeah, I'll do that for sure, Trav. Go for it. Do I think still plays? I mean, the Duke. I don't know what you think of me, but I am not a magician. I do not know. Where's the Saints team? It's on the last day, isn't it? I mean, yeah. Without being a prick or anything, what the hell am I going to know? I mean, yeah, obviously copped an unfortunate knee sort of issue, but wait for tomorrow, 5 o'clock, see what the thing is. I'm sure he'll be named. But whether or not I can tell you what the hell, whether he's going to play or not, I just can't. So yeah, hopefully he does for anyone that owns him. But if you don't own him, I wouldn't be looking at bringing him in. Put it that way, if that's sort of what your dilemma is. But yeah, I guess it kind of sucks if you have him, and just make sure your emergency set up properly. Maybe if you're not trading, just maybe have a trade ready, and you could go to a GWS mid or something like that. But yeah, I can't tell you whether he's playing or not, mate. No idea. Getting rid of McRae instead of Hopper this week just to scrape in Walsh and Zero, fixing mistakes. If that's Jack McRae, I'll probably just keep. He might even get forward status, mate. So I would just keep him. I guess it gets you a better primo, but I don't know if I'd be doing that. Fix Hopper, he's obviously gone for long term. That's probably what I would say, but I guess you might not have enough or much at all, really, to spend on. How much is McRae? What's the difference there in price? Hopper's like 4. You could probably only afford like a 500k primo. I mean, I'd probably just hold with McRae. Like you've already sort of taken the hit, and as I said, I think he's like 30. He's right on the threshold of forward time. He could get DPP, and you can sort of just throw him forward and see what happens there. Yeah, bit of a weird one. I need one upgrade. Better off using the second to go Wilmot, JVR to Sharp, or trade Dead Rook. Yeah, I'll probably fix a Dead Rook. So someone like a Sturt or MJ, because they might find it hard to get back in the team. Is probably the way I'd go. Yeah, look, I'm not looking forward to it if it happens. I mean, the betting side of things, I won't lose sleep. I do have a casual bet every now and then, but I ain't going to lose sleep over that. I'd care more about for SuperCoach and fantasy. But yeah, I guess integrity in general, right? Like Geelong already sort of do it week to week as it is. And if teams can sort of swing 5 changes pre-game, I don't know the ins and outs of the rule, and obviously they'll make some contingencies there, you'd think. But I mean, look, I watch other sports as basketball. Just talking about NBA. I mean, even soccer. They name their lineups 1 hour before. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if just in Australia over here we think differently, but I guess they'll have to make some some contingencies on what you can do, and we'll see. We'll leave that till next year rather than not think about it, to be honest. Paris to Merit, yeah, get it done, mate. Go for it. Sheets was a keeper, probably not a season keeper. I think up until his bye, see how he goes. Obviously, last week 68 shot his break even up to 80, and then if he doesn't go, another 80 or if he goes like another 88 this week, it's up to 100. So I think we sort of get this week to have another look, and if it's 2 poor scores in a row, you maybe could consider flipping him to another premium. But we'll see what happens. Hall's back in the bloody team, so just wait and see what that does. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think you wait this week. DC is a great option. I just don't think you need to go him this week. You can just see what happens. His first game back with Cox. Obviously had a bit of an injury. So look, if you want to take a risk, by all means. But I think you just wait the 1 week. Walsh on Merit. I think I'd say Walsh. But to be honest, I would want both. Sorry, so I think I'd want Merit from next week anyway. He's a good price, has good fixtures coming up. Sort of Walsh's DPP, right? Doesn't really matter until you sort of have a full team and you got all your mids in and you can swing him forward. So what's like at the moment, maybe just wait till post buy and flip a primo that's underperforming at that stage. It might cost you some money, of course, but I'd probably go Merit. With all those mids out, he's going to get a lot of mid time, I would expect. And whilst he might be the main guy, cop some attention. I just think North and West Coast is going to be pretty easy for him. I think I have anyway, sort of come to the conclusion that the best rookie is Sharp this week. And look, it's not amazing, but it's probably best of a bad bunch. Last boost, correct, Davey. Got Sharp already, not sure what next best is. So I might I would say no, and I would do this next week. Like, just are you going to be upgrading next week? If you're not, just do it next week and maybe go for someone like a Fleeton next week. But if you really like Sharp, then I would boost to Sharp. Just decide how much you like Sharp, whether you think he's going to be a good rookie, and if not, just avoid him. Save the boost, and next week it might be probably a nothing week for people next week. No upgrading, no real standout rooks to get. But if we do like a Fleeton or an O'Donnell, then you could make some dead rook switches. Then I would say, because I don't think many people will be upgraded next week. But correct me if I'm wrong. Some people might have a bit more money on the bench than me. So yeah, good question. My buys. So in round 12, it's just an extra player. Can't really count any of these guys on the bench besides Simpson and maybe a Weddle. So it gives me 18 here. And then another reason is just sort of on field. I think I might trust Humphrey. Like, look, I'm not going to probably get 100 from him ever again. But since I have to field him, like Sharp, most people bringing in Sharp probably don't have to field him. You can bench him, and maybe Humphrey has a bit of a better role. And look, he does have some tougher matchups coming. But yeah, since I have to field the rookie I'm bringing in, I'm probably going Humphrey instead. And I still will think about Francis. Doing him and having him obviously down back as an option. I will think about him. What I think his longer term job security is, because he'll have the first buy, and I really will need him to play after that. But it's no good to me if he's swung forward or dropped. So I think, but Humphrey has really good job security. That's probably why I'm going it. But I wouldn't advise any of you guys that don't need to spend an extra 100K on going him over Sharp. I think you like I'm in a stuff spot. Like, you guys probably have better teams than me. I'll just go Sharp, keep the extra money, and you guys probably don't have to field him. So that's where I would answer that question. A few more here, guys. I'll scroll down a bit quickly. Downgrading Rat to no matter. Doesn't Rat have a bit more money to make? Just quickly check. I mean, I got rid of him prematurely, but 29 break even, mate. I'd just hold him for now. He might be actually he might be at a whole price through the buys and has a really good buy too. So I'd wait to do that. Boost, Hopper, Davey, Chandler, Merritt, Sharp, Drury, 240 in the bank. Ashcroft, Merritt, Brayshaw, Drury, no, okay in the bank. I do like the second one, I'll be honest, getting in 2 premiums. So I would do that, mate. And then you could fix Davey next week to someone like, Fleeton or whoever we were speaking about before. McKenna, Wilmot, and so I would almost lock in Seamus and Wilmot here, to be honest. McKenna hasn't been impressive recently. And if Wilmot plays down back, I think he was quite good last week. So I mean, I think Seamus, I would for sure. Has looked really good. Averaging in the 60s. I would go him, and then I'd pick out of the Brisbane guys, but maybe go Wilmot. Obviously been in better form. Ashcroft, hold or trade. Bit of a hard question to answer just on its own, but 85 break even. He does go well at the Gabba, and I guess he's at the Gabba again this week. So I don't, either way, you can hold him one more. Or if you want to upgrade, you can trade. Yeah, look, I was always worried about Steele, and to be fair, the knee injury was random, but we've seen with Laird, we've seen with Steele, these guys are getting managed late in games. So, yeah, I was just answered it before. I would go Sharp, unless your buyers are truly, truly stuffed. Just have a look at that. Yeah, I know. Look, he goes very, very well in the VFL every week. If you want to take that risk, I will not tell you not to, if that makes sense. 51 break even, obviously Tigers, West Coast, North. I fully expect him to be a lot more in the midfield. You can definitely go that if you'd like, but what does it really do? You'd probably want him to get, as I said before, at least 450K or up to 450K, right? By the buyers, which, or by his buy, which he could do, and then he could flip him. Yeah, so if you want to take that risk, go for it. If buy is not a concern, Merritt, Neil Laird, I would go Merritt. Thoughts on Hopper, Cowan, and Davey to Sicily, Humphrey, and Drury? Yep, totally fine. Humphrey, if you desperately need him. If not, go Sharp amongst there. But yeah, overall, I like the sort of basis of that. Francis Evans is a trade-in. I did have a sneaky look at him, but he is a small forward, right? And I'm pretty sure, go to Port team. Rioli's still suspended, right? That's the one. So, Todd Marshall injured. I think it's Willie Rioli who's suspended till next week. Is he just out for him? Possibly. I don't know enough, and he's a small forward. Do you really need him? Not sure. I'd probably go Sharp instead. That's the same question. I'm half in the mind to keep Shees and just ignore his cash. Yeah, look, if he's playing defense rest of the year, I think we'll probably keep him. But I almost feel like there's a point in the season where he'll start to play in different positions. We'll see. But yeah, keep him for now. Keep monitoring it. But it could be like a bit of a winning move to get to jump off him before the bad scores keep coming. But we'll see. He's a talented player. He could definitely turn it around. Whittle or Sharp. Like, I assume Whittle's playing tomorrow, and then I'd probably say him if the cash doesn't affect you. But I still think Sharp's a fine option, and just see what it does for you following weeks. Again, as I always say, but I feel like Weddle's going to have to play. There's just no reason that he wouldn't. Okay, Brayshaw or Oliver. Choose Brayshaw. Yeah. This is what you got to look at. Normally I'll just say grab Clary. No doubt in my mind. But if you can go Brayshaw, and then the following week, I don't know if you have Merritt, but go someone like a Merritt. I feel like it's just better. And then Clary, you can grab hopefully after his bye or something. I mean, he was always. This is when I had McRae, and obviously was a mistake in starting him. That's why I just went to Clary at 700. I was like, yes, Clary might drop, and he has, but how much is it? And do you just want to get him back in? And he's always going to be hard to trade in at 650 plus. So I guess look at the 500k player landscape, mate, and see if there's absolutely anyone you fancy. Like, can you afford DC next week? He might be 510-ish. Have a look at that. Defenders, there isn't much. Whitfield, Redmond under 500k. There's not a lot there either. So I guess it just sort of how much do you like options like that if you go Clary this week? I don't really know. Phil won a Sharp, Wilmot, Nevitt, and Chincotta. Okay, got some options there. Let's have a look at the Brisbane team. Guess it's the same as last week, so you don't really get much out of it. But Wilmot did play a bit of defense. I don't, if I'm not mistaken, at some point. Ooh, that's tough. I would go. I would probably go Wilmot. Yeah. Although Nevitt didn't look too bad either, right? Last week, and he, plays a bit on the wing, gets Freo on a bigger ground at Optus. Maybe him. I'd probably say Wilmot. Number one, Nevitt. Number two, maybe Sharp or Humphrey. Team dependent, but most cases people should be going Sharp, I believe. And then we'll finish off with this. So I'm looking at probably Clary tomorrow night. And then if I'm feeling saucy, maybe Errol against North. Otherwise, Bont against the Crows sounds pretty good to me. Won't make it too complicated. I guess the question is, if you're not confident on putting the C on Errol and you want to VC him, then who's your backup? And for me, it's a bit tougher there. Like, it could be Dunks again, but there's always a little bit of risk there. It could be Merritt if I go him over Stewart. Depends what I land on. Or it could just be as simple as Nick Dacos. Big game at the G against Carlton. What do we really expect from Nick Dacos there? Probably nothing less than 100. And his base is really good. Like, he's going to score 100 most weeks. So, you're not going to get a dud score. So yeah, it depends what your thing is. But I think for now, I'm not too hung up on my season at this point. I might go Clary, and then if I'm feeling a bit spicy, I'll just go Errol straight C if Clary doesn't go great, and try and get a big score there. So nothing much else here, guys. Otherwise, I'll jump off. But thanks for joining me. I might consider doing a sort of live stream post around like Sunday night. See if any other boys want to jump on me. Like, that won't really count as the podcast, but we'll maybe just a live reaction to my crap team, but see how other people are going on a Sunday night, see what I'm doing if I can. But thank you for joining me. Hope you're going better than me. Where am I sitting at? So about 3,000. Like, yes, not totally terrible, but sort of just the way the team's gone in the last few weeks. Why not expose myself here? So a bit of trade history, just so you can see. Maybe we can see where I stuffed up. So round 2, totally good. Chester to Chandler, recognizing that a week early. Round 3, again, this is probably like 2 really good decisions here, and then the one really bad one in going like McRae out, Doc out was fine, even though I was maybe a bit lucky that he dropped 2 stinkers after this. Bruin obviously out, so fine, all there. Dacos in was a must. Oliver in, really happy with. Setterfield over Zeeble. That's really where my season, or one big decision in my season that my stubbornness didn't want to make. And then I guess round 4 too with Darcy out and up to English, and it's sort of costing me, close to 100K here. And Shrek's just been fine. Like, he's gone bang and absolutely matched him from there on out. Like, I did get a captain score or 2 out of English, but some people might have VC'd Shrek along the way, and he had some big ones as well. And they've, I think, since round 4 kind of been neck and neck. So, I missed English's early scores, so that didn't really matter what he was averaging for me. Like, in my side, they'd probably be about the same if I kept Shrek. So that's another one. Mackenzie to Samson, really good. So really happy I did that. Obviously, Jinby out, Chandler out prematurely. That was bad. To get in Took, like, this was a bad boost as well. Actually, that was a terrible boost because Robertson Johnson obviously has also been terrible. Captain Took that week. Holy, that is terrible. So that obviously went very, very bad. Had to boost Took out the following week because of that. McKenna, Wilmot for Walt. So that's been fine. Walsh and Day and Seamus. So that was okay, but obviously was off the back of Took being injured, forced to do that. Setterfield out, obviously didn't make much money at all. Redigalia out, maybe a little bit early, but he was a good pick for me. And Fergus had to go, and then Sinclair, so didn't make the greatest choice there. Hopefully he can bounce back. Walpole was actually pretty good in the end. Ashcroft, fine, and then Davey for Mills, and then Brayshaw, and yeah, obviously we know what happened to Mills last week and then this week. So yeah, there's a couple of key decisions there that are stuffed up, but you know what? You live and you learn. Can't get everything right, and if you do, then you're probably going to win the whole thing. So, no, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on maybe an end of round stream, but if not, my video and the podcast. And good luck this week. So, thanks, guys. Cheers.